So I think a lot of people are really scared of AI right now because of the uncertainty that it causes. I respect everyone's opinions about what they think about AI. And I know there's a lot of fear around it. People are afraid they might lose their jobs, they might get replaced. Students thinking that, what am I going to school for? And software engineering was supposed to be a lucrative field. And now everyone's saying that we're going to be replaced in a couple of years. And there's also these environmental concerns. Is it using too much water? Is it using too much energy? Is it going to affect climate change? And I'm not trying to put down any of these concerns, but at the same time, I think that the potential for AI has the opportunity and gives us the ability to address all of these concerns. And I think there's just a lot of misunderstanding with a lot of these concerns too. So I want to share my enthusiasm for AI and what it's actually allowing us to do. So I think that AI is really incredible. Like, if you just get down to it, it's a way to bridge simple mathematics, something that we understand, and organically compose it into something from the bottom up perspective that is very similar to intelligence and the way that our brains work. Just an analogy is AI goes through a training process. AI tries to mimic brain neurons. I know what some people are going to say that it's not really mimicking a neuron because a neuron has all of these other properties and different types of operations, mathematical operations that it can do, but it is modeled off in a simple way, right? The whole idea is AX plus B, where A is your weight, X is the input, and B is a bias. And you train these neurons to get closer and closer to the answer. And so that's really what a model is simple math built up, billions of simple math equations built up, and the ability to train those simple math equations into getting closer and closer to the answer. Some people might say that, oh, it's only probability or it's only statistics. Well, my response to that is, how do you know we're not basically thinking the same way? How is our brain not based on simple mathematics, right? Now, I'm not saying that AI is an exact representation of our brain and how we think, but the way that we work with AI, the way that we think about how to interact with AI does have similarities. Training being one of them, right? Training, when you train to shoot a basketball, you're making hundreds and hundreds, thousands and thousands of shots, and you're just dialing it in a little bit each time. Well, that's very similar to what backprop and gradient descent is. And the idea is you start from a random point, just like the billions of human beings that we have on this planet. We all start from a random starting point, right? And that's kind of how a model is trained. You just pick a random starting point of weights and vectors. And then it almost doesn't matter what that point is, which is really interesting to me because what's shown is that any random starting point where you train a model can basically get to some local minimum loss, right? So it doesn't matter where you start from. If you train the model enough times, all of these random points basically get to the same point of accuracy, which is kind of like a beautiful thing, I think. So, just through this training process and through scaling up single neurons into billions and trillions of parameter models, we're able to get output that's similar to what reasoning and logic is to what people think, to how people think. And I just think that's so amazing. I mean, another analogy I like to compare how coding and programming is these days with LLMs is magic. What is magic in The Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, right? You speak words of command or you learn the incantations and you use a wand to make some gestures and all of a sudden you affect reality. Well, now that we can make programs with speech, with prose, prose, that's kind of magical. Like you can make a poem into a program that does something for you. And the future of AI with this in mind, I think is very interesting and incredible. Like imagine you have a robot or uh or just your car even, and you're able to just program that car by speaking poetry to it, or tell the car what to do by speaking poetry to it, maybe how it can drive. Okay, maybe that's not a great analogy, but you get the point, right? Like I can easily imagine competitions, poetry competitions, programming competitions with poetry. And so, I mean, people are making games, people are making incredible videos and movies and art with AI. And I get it, there's criticism there because, all of this art is, trained on people's, uh, output, right? And so I get it, yeah, I think we should address those concerns, but at the same time, this is bringing the ability to do magic to everyone. It used to be that you needed to learn how to code, you needed to take years to learn the syntax, to, um, understand the domain in order to create something simple even. Uh, it's amazing now from 80 years ago how printing "Hello World" took just an inordinate amount of esoteric knowledge. And now you can print "Hello World" by telling the LLM, "Print hello world." Although maybe that's, not a great example either, just because you can probably print "Hello World" a lot easier if you just set up, Python or something, or even just open up your browser and went into the dev console. But in any case, now everyone's a magician, a sorcerer, a mage, a bard, a wordsmith, whatever. And I think that's the direction that's really exciting because instead of stunting people's creativity, I think that AI is going to allow programming, engineering, and art to blend together into something um, truly beautiful. And I think that the most beautiful things in the world are a masterful balance and blend of art and engineering. So that's why I'm excited about it. So that's my take. And honestly, it's just my take. I don't want to downplay any of the fears that people have. I think that those obviously all need to be addressed in a balanced sort of way, but I tend to have a faith in humanity. We've been here before, and although AI does have a lot of potential for bad things, I think it also has an equally great potential for good things. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What are you most afraid of with AI, and what are you most looking forward to with AI?